This is the best part. I don't know that you'd call it the best part, but if you lean out, then you can see that amazing tower, which is phenomenal. Good morning. It's Friday. TGIF. Glad it's Friday. See this guy right here? See that tower? That's Tour Saint-Jacques. Tour Saint-Jacques is like my favorite disembodied tower in the whole city. And it's right at the center of the city. It's very, very close at least. The office, the Vossice as we called it lovingly, is right here. And I said we called it lovingly because we're finally actually losing it as of now-ish. But I couldn't tell the story because there were secrets to be kept and also security to be kept. But the time for secrets is over. The time to give you the full Vossice tour is now. So stick around for that. But first I gotta finish my run. So I'll finish that and then we'll go back when I'm not all sweaty. That'll be worth it. Coffee first. You know, then the tour.
It's just like
you know, I haven't had one of these in a long time either. Okay, now on with the show. Technically, the Vossice is in the 4th arrondissement, but it's a really good example of how neighborhoods don't necessarily equate to arrondissement. So the Marais is in the 4th, but isn't all of the 4th. And Châtelet is just next door here. Châtelet Les Halles in the 1st. Over there, 4th. Over here, 1st. I would consider this to be Les Halles, and I would consider that to be part of it as well. Some people might consider that to be the Marais, but it shows, you know, I just tend to think in terms of like, Montmartre is in the 18th, but the entire 18th is not Montmartre, and it's kind of the same in principle. Châtelet itself is famous for its shopping, its nightlife, and its petty crime.
Sex shop, prostitution.
Yeah, there's a lot of sex shops and prostitution. Sam knows all about that, so.
Hey.
And actually, on Rue Saint-Denis, we've talked about that before with Chantal, but this street, Rue Saint-Denis, is the one that is famous in the past for the prostitution, and you can still see some ladies of the night hanging out even in the day if you walk along here, as well as the French Bastards, which is a pretty tasty and fun to say bakery name. But yeah, this area is just kind of crammed full of little shops, kebabs, all kinds of food. There's a Five Guys here now, and the world's largest underground shopping mall. Yeah, it is actually probably, I think it's all closed at the moment. This is also just a quick tour of the neighborhood since we're doing it. The Fontaine des Innocents here is the oldest monumental fountain in Paris. And one time, I think this is actually in my vlog back in the day, I was sitting right here having a lunch break with some tourists on my bike tour back when I did bike tours, and one of our bikes got stolen while we were hanging out having lunch, like right in front of me. I had no idea it happened, so you know, good memories.
Just talking about Fish Days and a French lesson. It was back in February. He's like, what did you do the weekend? I was like, oh, me and Linda, because I live near Rue Saint-Denis.
Yeah.
Went up Rue Saint-Denis, Fazbourg Saint-Denis, because it's actually towards Fazbourg. It's some fun kind of shops and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And I said, oh yeah, Rue Saint-Denis for Valentine's Day. Oh, I guess, yeah. You went to Rue Saint-Denis for Valentine's Day? Yeah. No, she thought my French was pretty bad. She thought, no, you must be wrong. That's where the prostitutes are. Why would you go there for Valentine's Day?
Les Halles, the Marché des Halles. Halles is kind of like a word for warehouse or wholesaler. So this area used to be where everybody came to bring their produce, their meat, whatever they were bringing into town to sell, and then it would get resold to smaller markets out and about. So this area was very famous, not only for having a cemetery here, which if you go to the catacombs, you'll find the former residents of the cemetery that used to be here there, but it was also very famous for its rat population because it was just filthy. It was just covered in, you know, produce and all kinds of delicious snacks that the rats couldn't help themselves but devour as quickly as possible. So this is kind of the area. And of course you've seen a lot in the vlog Pompidou, which is where we'll head here in a second, the Modern Art Museum, and Paris's favorite eyesore. So we'll go up here, and then what we'll do is we'll come back, we'll go over to Rambuteau, and then that's where we can get our tasty snacks. Merci. One of the cool things about Pompidou that I don't fully understand because I'm not fully educated is that the color coding system on the outside actually correlates to the architectural design. So like the water pipes, the ventilation, everything actually is color coded, so you can tell what's going on from the outside because it's all put on the outside, which I think when I first got here I hated. Like I didn't like the way it looked, but once you get used to it, I mean obviously all this scaffolding is not helping right now, but you get used to it and you like it. And then when you go inside, the space on the inside is incredible. It really paid off. Now you have a good feeling for where the Vossice was. The reason we call it the Vossice, by the way, is because it was John Voss that reached out to let us use it. It's his place, and that's part of the secret of why I couldn't really talk about it yet. And we'll get to that, but first lunch. This was a part of a church once. I don't remember exactly the story. I need to look it up as to like how that all went down exactly. Pretty sure there was a fire involved. And it's a very popular intersection as well. You know, make more room for traffic, I guess. I'm not exactly sure, but I did make a video going up to the top when my friend Jennica was here, who happens to be today's patron producer. Thanks, Jennica, for being today's patron producer. Really appreciate that you're here. I'll thank you again later in the video, I'm sure. But, you know, I could thank you twice. Anyways, she and I went all the way to the top. Definitely a video worth watching. Freaking amazing. You can only go up here by rendezvous. Like they have set tour times, so you have to go on a tour to go up it. 100% worth it. It's also just been really nice to be right next to it so often. A little bit underappreciated, you know? Now this is a delightful park. You can come have lunch here. It's fantastic. Definitely a little bit of an underappreciated monument in many ways, but definitely well worth not overlooking, in my ever so humble opinion. And super close to the Vossice. Okie dokie. So this part of the house you're kind of familiar with, this one especially. Very familiar with the kitchen, I'm sure. This is where I've been doing a lot of cooking, or was doing a lot of cooking, until I lost access to the place. Not when John was here, but when Kate's plumbing issues happened and she had to stay here for a couple weeks. And then Jess had some stuff happen and she stayed here for a little while. And then I got it back and then got out of the habit of cooking. Anyways, there's some stuff in the fridge I'm gonna have to throw away for sure. But we're not gonna do that right now. I'll give you a little bit of a tour as well as tell you a little bit of what happened. Basically, John's company that he worked for paid for this place for him to come over once a month for like 2 weeks. So he's coming back and forth a lot before the pandemic. And then COVID happened and they weren't able to come back over for a long time. And they were kind enough to FedEx me the keys and let me use it as an office. And this is also where I would sleep when I was running with a running group down here. It's what made it really convenient to do. But yeah, he retired. That's why we couldn't talk about it, was because he was planning on retiring. He hadn't told his company yet. We didn't want to spill the beans just in case somebody saw it. Yeah, I didn't want to give up too much information too quickly, especially with the location and so forth. You know, but now that's all in the past. So we're gonna have to pack this place. I don't have a lot of stuff left here. I took most of my stuff out when John came a couple months ago. There are a few things in here still that I'm gonna have to not get rid of, but take home, like mailing supplies for patron postcards and stickers, including some old school stickers from the game. If you remember the game, still got a few Franks lying around. Anyways, that's kind of where the secret came from. The place itself is pretty spacious. It's actually pretty big. The wide angle makes it feel even bigger, but I always would think, I would realize just how big this place was when I was like cooking, and then someone like, let's say Kate would be sitting on the couch all the way across the room, and I was just like, my goodness. I don't know what the square footage or the square meterage is on this place, but it's pretty big. So we've got the living room. I got to get my painting out of here, my original Hillary Dew Honey painting. The layout works like this. You've got your living room / dining room. We moved this away from the door a little bit because it was kind of weird having it right over there. The kitchen, which again, you've seen pretty extensively. All the way across there, I went and turned the light on, is the bathroom for this place. And in between us and the bathroom are a couple of things. One is this first bedroom, which is missing one of the original beds that was in here because they gave one of the beds away. This is the middle bedroom here. Immediately on the corner is the toilet. This is what throws everybody off because it's just in the corner, like right around, it's tiny. Look at that. Not a whole lot of space, very Parisian toilet in the end. You know, does the trick. And then down the hallway from here, we have the bathroom and the master bedroom. Well, look at the bathroom first. Nice big shower, washing machine, sink, mirror. Hello. Not too shabby. This is something that if you've never lived in Europe before, you have to get kind of used to, is that shower curtains are often not a thing in a lot of places. You just gotta get good at directing the water in such a way that it does not splash all over the place. It's a skill I never knew I needed to learn, but a skill I learned nonetheless. So from the bathroom, now we have the master bedroom with the bed that used to be in there, I think. This is a different bed, I think, than the one that used to be in here. Feels pretty comfy. But from here, you can kind of see that there's some storage. Oh, what we skipped too, so there's a little bit of storage over here, but just outside there's a closet there. And there's closets in here too. So before we get too comfortable, first we have this closet, which is pretty big. Goes back a ways. You can see lots of hangers. Anybody needs a hanger, I can hook you up. Close that guy. And then if we come through here, two things to note. One is that the reason that this works out really well, these windows, which you haven't seen the view yet, the view is amazing, are like, these are already double paned right here. And then you've got another window here. So you end up with triple paned glass, which absolutely silences the outside world, which is really important because the outside world is very noisy here. We're on a street that usually has like 1, 2, 3, 4 bars visually present. And then to either direction, lots more bars. So it's actually a very, very, very noisy place at night. But what made it nice during the World Cup, I think it was the World Cup, or was it the Euro Cup? One of the cups when France was in that, Paris was in that, so it must have been the Euro Cup. They were allowed to be in the bars, so we could hear them cheering, but we watched up here nice and safe and away from the crowds, just opened the windows and we got the full experience, the full cheering. This is the best part. I don't know that you'd call it the best part, but if you lean out, then you can see that amazing tower, which is phenomenal. Great view. All right. These windows are also killer. They are lifesavers. And it's you don't get to get the full experience considering how quiet it is outside, but like there have been some pretty ruckus parties last summer when I first moved in here that just get pretty silenced by this. This bedroom has the triple panes. This bedroom has the triple panes. And the last thing I was going to show you was, again, a corner closet. Much like the corner toilet, the corner closet is just kind of cool. Just shoved in there. It's a bit of good. One of the weird features of this place, though, is that there are doors walking all the way through to the master bedroom, which isn't terrible, but just kind of odd in the sense that it's like, it's good for socializing, I guess, if you're going to socialize in all the rooms, but not as great for privacy. That's the tour, more or less. It's very much like it's a very Parisian apartment. Obviously, you've got like the crown molding, which is really nice. Everything's heated by radiator, which I miss. I really miss central air. You know, ventilation is something that I wish was more prevalent in Parisian apartments, but still very grateful to have some heat. And it was great to have. It was really fun. It's been nice. One of the biggest things for me has been that realization that like I really miss hosting, the ability to have people over, to feed them, to entertain them. And the chateau, as much as I love it and as cozy as it is, it's really hard to entertain more than 1 or 2 people at a time. And even then, you're pretty limited, right? Everything's crowded. And so it was really nice to have this space for just having, a few people over at a time. Cooking for people has been really nice. Nice to have a kitchen. So that's one element. And that definitely is like the impetus. Before the pandemic even, I was thinking about moving downtown to a bigger space for those specific reasons. Community and just the ability to be closer to friends, but also have a place for friends to come to is big. Because where I live, it's harder. People don't really come out that direction. It's been really, really good. And I'm really, really grateful for it. And even if I haven't used it as much recently, ever since we kind of cleared out, I'm just really grateful that I had access to it and that I had my time here. And thanks to the Vossices. Thanks to John and Tish and the whole family. Their family were kind of concerned when they found out that they had given the keys to some random YouTuber. There were many questions about whether or not I was just turning it into a meth den. And I hate to break it to you guys, but there was no meth den-ification. Probably would have made a great meth den, and I missed that opportunity entirely. There's always the next department. So anyways, that's a bit of the tour. Hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed, getting to finally see behind the scenes and get an idea of where it was and what the neighborhood was like and everything like that. And yeah, I'll miss it. I'm glad we had it. And I look forward to one day having my own much larger Parisian apartment than the one I'm in now. But I am also very grateful for the chateau and being out there, and it is cozy and I'm happy there too. So no complaints. Just very grateful that I had this extension to my footprint here in Paris for a while. So thanks for that, guys. Paul and Christian are going to be very sad that I'm not going to cook lunch for them anymore, but I'll find a way to do that every once in a while. Anywho, I'm going to, throw some of those old veggies away. And I think there's probably some like sour milk in there now too from Jess's tea collection setup. Something in there smelled a little bit milky. Not pleasant. So I'll throw that away. I'll tidy up a little bit here. We don't have to be out right away, but I just want to be ready to be out at a moment's notice. So I'll take a few things home that are still here. And thanks to my patron producer today, Jennica Vincent, one of my oldest friends, who's also been a patron of mine for a long time. Thanks for being my patron, Jennica. I'm happy to have you here. Thanks to all my patrons for supporting us. The Vossice are also patrons. So thanks, Vossice, not only for being our temporary landlords, but also patrons. And just thank you. It's so touching. It's just so cool. The idea that I could have this experience all because of the generosity of some people from the Boston area that watch my vlogs makes me feel really good. Or from Boston proper. Massachusetts, one way or another. Anyways, I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever it is you are. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope that you're doing well and staying healthy. And I'll see you bright and early in a few days, one of these mornings sometime soon, for yet more exploratory moments in Paris. See you then.